Hey YouTube, what's going on? ZeroMagnumX. So I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to run a bit of an explanation first, and then after that explanation I'll get to the deck profile here. I'll probably put in the description of where the deck profile starts and all that good stuff. So this is the Transformers TCG for those who are not familiar with it. I'm not really going to do like a how to play video or anything like that. The reason this video is coming up is because I'd like to start showcasing this on the channel, but I don't have really anyone who plays actively in the area for games. I'm trying to convince Kitmits to play, but this game, unlike Speed Duels and some other stuff, isn't like exactly a cheap format where I can just go buy whatever and be able to play at my like or at my leisure. If tournaments begin for this game, I will start showcasing more decks that I play, and be more like a deck profile kind of thing. And maybe like if tournaments or games can be had, I might like start recording those and taking my camera with me. It just depends. There's a lot of what ifs for this. However, I've fallen in love with this game, and that's why I want to showcase it. It's my channel, so I feel like, hey, I can talk about stuff. Transformers is a really fun game. You have a variety of different bots. Like, for example, this is a legal card. Isn't that cool? That's Metroplex, and he's an entire strategy around him that you can buy. Probably you can find it discounted at GameStop for like 15 bucks. That you can get the entire Metroplex deck. These are actually combiners and a Battle Master, so they're smaller. Your typical actual size, I should mention this, like, of a Transformer is about yay big. They did something different with combiners and the new Battle Masters from set 3. In the game, the basis is to build a deck. You need at least 40 cards with at least 3 of each what they call battle cards, which are these cards. Battle card, I think, is anything. It's an action, upgrade, or I think that's it. Just actions and upgrades. And they have like 3 different types of upgrades and everything else. So right now it's actions and upgrades until they update that. And once per turn you can play 1 action, 1 upgrade. It's kind of like a game where you get 1 of one thing, 1 of another. And of course there are cards that will break this. Like there's a card called Brainstorm that you played, it's an action, says you may play an action, then you play another action. So we'll get to that. Anyway, and like I said, you build a team of no more than the 25 stars. You need at least a 40 card deck. And then like I said, at least 20 or 25 stars or less. And then from there the sky's the limit. Whenever you attack, you flip over 2 cards, much like akin to Vanguard. I'm giving a basic idea. And the attack damage is dealt, see that 5 is 5 attack, 12 health, and 0 defense. He would attack in for 5 at a bot, and then his attack would go against the defense. But then you flip the top 2 cards of your deck, almost like a drive check, for those who play Vanguard, and then you search for more like of the orange pips if you're trying to deal damage, and then your opponent gets to flip 2 cards, and then the number of blue cards is added to defense. So it's real simple. There are cards to increase how many cards you flip, like bold and tough, which is what this deck focuses on with Lionzer. Lionzer here has like 0 attack power, but has bold 4. So when he swings, you flip 4 cards to look for damage on your opponent's bot, which is really sweet. Because if you flip also like a white pip over once, you get to flip 2 cards. So it's kind of like okay, so you flip like a double orange and a white, and then you flip like orange, and then you get to flip 2 more, and then if they're like more oranges, you're dealing a ton of damage against your opponent. Brief idea of how to play the game. There are plenty of to-play guides. Check Rec and Roll out, WRECK space N space RULE. They have like how to play videos. The official site has a basic idea of how to play, even like a basic version of the game and other things. So there are resources out there. That's why I'm not going to waste my time going over it. But if you guys like the Transformers TCG and you want to see more content, please, please, please let me know in the comments. That's the best way to tell me, hey, I really loved your Transformers video. Please make more. And then I will work on that. Anyway, without further ado, this is a budget Dreadwing deck. And this is where the deck profile is going to start. For those of you who know Transformers and are here, so it looks like about 5 minutes and 30 in for my rambling. So Dreadwing is a flip bot, or whatever, the combiner, and he's only a 2-stage combiner. Combiners can be like 4 or 5 bots and stuff, but he's only 2. And then we have, sorry, wrong side, Private Lionzer. Private Lionzer is the first bot you want to send into attack with, because you want it to die. I know it sounds weird, but it's because he will eventually give your giant plane +4 bold. So you attack in with him, you flip your cards, blah blah blah, and then hopefully they kill him, because he'll be the only attack target. Because you can only, aside from the opening turn, you can only choose tapped guys to attack. So like I said, he has bold 4, and then whenever he dies, he flips over. He becomes a weapon that's equipped that has bold 4 and plan 1. Plan 1 lets you take a card from your hand and put it on top of your deck. So if like I have this double orange pip in my hand that's doing nothing, I can be like, alright, I'm going to put this on top of the plan 1, and now my bold 4 is going to secure at least 2 additional damage. On his own, he's pretty nuts. He hits around 7 damage consistently from practice, and unless you get like a bad flip. And then Dreadwing and Blackwing both have abilities. This is a 2/12/3 with Pierce 2. So Pierce is like, they have to take the damage even if they've got like the tough and stuff. So they'll take at least 2 damage from the Pierce 2, regardless of what their defense is. And then the other side has the same text that his buddy does, and that is, at the end of your turn, if you have Blackwing, Aerial Attacker, and Bot mode, so his buddy, so they're flipped over, you can discard 3 cards and then combine them. And then Blackwing is just a 5 attack, 12 health, and 1 defense guy, and then on this side he has 0 defense. So the whole point of this deck is to be as aggressive as possible. The big weakness of it is that you only have 1 bot eventually. So I'll show you the combined side of Dreadwing as best as I can on camera. So this is what Dreadwing would look like combined. You flip them over and open them. And then it has a 7 power, 24 health, and 2 damage, or 2 defense. And it has 2 weapon slots, 2 armor slots, and 2 utility slots. Normally, a Transformer has 1 of each. And then you can only play like 1 armor, 1 upgrade, or 1 weapon per turn. But he gets 2, so we get to kind of beef him up a little bit. Okay, so the idea, and then the whole idea is to flip him. And the neat thing is, like Lionzer, if he flips to one of your bots, you flip him over and then combine him, this will stay equipped. Like, this will basically be equipped to him to start the game off. And then so you might end up in a turn where they hit you, and you have the 24 health and 2 defense. Hopefully they don't kill you, and then now you're swinging in with 7 power and bold 4 with plan 1. So you're probably swinging in for like 15 at a clip. Most bots in this game don't have like 15 health. They have like an average of between like 13 and like 15, maybe 16. There's one with like 21, but he's an exception. But a lot of bots don't have a ton of health. And so if you're swinging in, you're probably KOing whatever you're attacking with Dreadwing with that bold 4. Here's the main deck itself. The idea is as many orange pips as possible and putting them on top where we can to just maximize damage. So we have 3 improvised shields. We never really put this on because Tough 1 is useless for us. Tough 1 means we get to flip an additional defensive card. We're not playing defense. We're all in aggro. So we're playing 3 improvised shields. We can only afford the 2 mounted missiles because of the star cost. That brings us to 25. This can be in an armor or utility slot and gets +2 to damage. We really want to flip these, but it's not terrible to give our Dreadwing a permanent +2 either. Cooling vents. This is kind of my tech, because we're playing a giant airplane that doesn't have a lot of health to go around. Like 24 is good, but it's not, it's not like 35 like Metroplex here is, but he's an exception. So we try to add some defense, and this heals 1, and then it's an orange pip, so it works on our airplane. If you're looking to play something else besides this, this is one of the ones you can take out. But I like giving our plane a little bit more durability. Supercharge. One of your characters gets bold +3 until end of turn. So obviously we have bold +4, so this will be 7 cards we flip off the top of the deck looking for damage. At least. Mining Pack. Whenever the upgraded character attacks, you can plan 2. So if you have like double orange pips, you can be like, beep, beep, I'll put them on top. And then flip, so you know that's at least adding 4 damage. And then whatever your bold kicks in number is for the turn also. So pretty good if you can manage to get some draw power in, or you're like, oh, I'm stuck on these 2 improvised shields in my hand, so I'm going to put them on top and put that into straight damage to like KO your bot or whatever. And then whenever you play this, whenever you put a card from your hand on top of your deck, the upgraded character gets +1. So you're making him even bigger with Mining Pack. So you give him basically, with that plan 2, you give him +3 attack, and then the +4 of the orange pips if you put them on top. So you're giving whatever you're attacking +7 plus the bold. So you're dealing out so much damage. You kind of have to keep up. Otherwise, your plane can be KO'd if you're not keeping ahead in the aggressive game. This was also a budget deck. I think I mentioned that. So if you guys have like Peace Through Tyranny and other cards, use those. I just don't own them because that card's nuts. And then it's an easy Lions or KO, and then you can equip and get your move started real quick. Like turn 1, and you'd be like, oh, Peace Through Tyranny, pop in Lions, or equip it to one of my bots. Flip, if you're going second, first can't play any actions. And then you flip with Rapid Conversion, and then you flip your bot form, discard your 3 cards, and then be like, flip, now we're ready to go for our second turn. And now we can just play whatever we draw into and go from there. And then just like maybe there's like one-shotting bots on the opposing side. Alright, Scrapper Gauntlets. Whenever you play this on a character, scrap an enemy weapon. If you can't, draw a card. It gives us defense, and you draw a card. It's not the best draw, it's cheap. It's not an expensive card, it's a common. And because I have 3 of it, we're using it. There are better cards you can use, but again, this is a budget build. It shouldn't cost you more than maybe like $5 or $10 to build this deck, I think. Unless there's something that I'm missing that's pricier that I just happen to pull like a playset of. Erratic Lightning gives your character +3 and -1. I've been iffy about this. Oops, sorry about that. It's been good and it's been bad. There are times whenever I just can't play it, and I want to, because like our one plane has 0 health because it says a character's defense can't go below 0, so I don't think you can equip it. Unless it is like, hey, it's at 0 with the -1. I have to check on the rules of that. Like I said, still fairly new. We have Rapid Ascent here. When you put this on one of your ranged characters, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and scraps it. So they discard a card, and it's given us some defense. This is also like one of the cards that is expendable in the deck, but it's nice to make your opponent discard so they have less options. Alright, Flamethrower gives us bold +2. It's a weapon, so we just throw it on just like we flip 2 more cards. Income and Transmission. Draw 2 cards and put a card from your hand on top of your deck. I only own 2 of these. Run 3 if you have them. Same with Grenade Launcher. It's +4, and then you scrap this at the end of the turn. Attacks +4 damage, or attack rating. We only run 2, but like I said, you probably could run 3. Power Punch. Run a playset of this card. I own 1. It gives a bold 3 for that turn. That's almost as good as this card. And because we have 2 weapon slots, we can be like, well, this is just bold 7 plus like an action to give us bold 3. That's bold 10. So that's 10, for those who play Vanguard, 10 drive checks. Like, it's just searching for 10 damage, plus any white pips you get, that's 2 more. So you can get kind of crazy. Squish them like bugs. When one of your characters attacks, when it deals damage to an enemy that has less stars than it, do 1 damage to each enemy that has fewer stars. So I like this as like a 1 or 2 of. I'd probably run 2. You give it to your Dreadwing who has like X number of stars. It's probably going to be bigger than anybody. So anybody you attack, you're doing some spread damage out. We don't, like I said, I only own 1, so I only run 1. I don't know if you need more. It's just nice to be like, oh, I'll ping your team. There could be better cards, there could be worse. Now we'll get into the non-orange part of the deck. Rapid conversion. This is how you flip your airplane over. Flip one of your characters to its other mode. It's simple, straightforward, it's cheap, it comes in the decks, easy to get. Data pad. When the upgraded character attacks, draw a card, then you put a card from your hand on top of it. So I think this works like plan. If it doesn't, this card is useless. However, I'm fairly sure that it's on, when you attack, it's before you do your damage checks, or you check for battle cards. That's the appropriate phrase for it. So I'm running 2 of those. If it doesn't work like that, this is the first card out of the deck. But the whole idea is to like help stack the deck more. Spare parts. This card allows you to protect your upgrades. So that helps you out immensely. You're like, okay, I want to protect lines, or I don't want it to go away. We'll put spare parts on, and they would try to remove lines, or you can use this in its place. And then after each battle, swap 1 card from your hand with one of your flipped cards if you hit a green pip. Allows you to kind of flip around pips. We're not really looking to do that much. We may want to yank out like a rapid conversion if we need it in weird circumstances, but that's about the sum of it. Unless you want to like grab a double orange pip for some reason and then like stack it for another turn. It can come up, but we're not really looking to do the green pips that much in this deck. And then finally, our only blank card in the deck, which this does nothing when it's flipped to Steamroll. Simply enough, whenever you KO basically a character, any extra damage that would be dealt, you assign to another character. So like if you put Steamroll on Dreadwing and you attack for, I don't know, like 16, okay, and you kill the bot because it has 5 health, that means you're choosing another robot, another transformer they have, and dealing 11 damage to it, which can get crazy. So that's why you run Steamroll, just because you're doing giant amounts of damage. Sorry, it's an action, my bad. You're dealing giant amounts of damage, and this can just be like, oh, well, I'm going to kill 2 of your bots at once because we're using 1. That's kind of the idea. Sorry about the glare of Dreadwing Lionzer. It's just a fast attacking deck. Wreck and Roll inspired me to build this because I had the pieces. I was like, oh, that's a really cool idea. And we'll give it a try. I don't think it's going to be tier 1 or anything like that, but you can definitely surprise like your friends and stuff if you're playing in your local game groups and stuff like that. So anyway, I know this is a long video. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile, and stay tuned for more TCG content. Peace and have a good one, YouTube. Later, everybody.